feeling like ahead of this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely the biggest fight of my career, but so was the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. So that feels familiar. You know, my fight week's exactly the same. I'm doing a little bit more talking to folks, but it feels great. You know, the atmosphere and finally seeing myself on not on the undercard. Rob can be like very lucky. Like we almost opened up this card, but being on the main card of this, like just before the title fight, and seeing yourself on a countdown show, seeing myself on the promotional video, it's something special, and I'm taking it in. I'm loving it.
Last minute, this procedure you had, this nasal procedure, I guess, can you talk to us about, can you quantify how much different you are in training so far, or is that only going to be revealed in the fight? Like, how much of a difference this is making?
Yeah, some people would say, listen, this is nose surgery, are you going to be a new fighter? And I'm like, guys, it's just a nose surgery. It's definitely making a difference in how I look when I fight, because, breathing through your mouth definitely looks crazy, and you definitely start hyperventilating when you're breathing heavily. And during my rest rounds, I can really, that's where the big difference comes in. And my recovery, my sleep, everything has been better. And there's definitely a difference, but how big of a difference? Am I going to get tired? Most certainly, because if you look at the output that I put, anybody in the world will get tired from that. But maybe I look a little bit better doing it.
Talk about the challenge you have in Rob, obviously a guy that's been around at the top level of the game for a long time. I mean, is this the most difficult opponent you faced to date, and how difficult was it preparing for him?
Yes, most certainly the best opponent I've faced in my whole career. But I can say the same to him. He is an incredible fighter, and people would say, where do you see holes in his game? And to see a hole in a game of somebody like Whittaker is extremely hard. And I don't think that's the way to go. I'm not looking for holes in any game. I'm looking to force mistakes and capitalizing on those. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when I go out there, is enforce my style. And Whittaker, shot for shot, he's extremely fast and he's very calculated. And when he gets his style going, when he's in his comfort zone, he's very dangerous. And to make sure he doesn't get to that comfort zone, making sure I'm taking him out of that comfort zone into my world, where it's a dark place and I feel at home.
Last thing for me, we know this is a big fight, but I guess the question is just how big. Is this a #1 contender fight? Does the winner get a title shot? I guess what's your understanding of this? I mean, you're viewing it as a #1 contender fight, and are you looking at a quick turnaround in Sydney as a possibility? I mean, is that even remotely possible in 2 months from now, 9 weeks from now?
Well, up until this point, I've been this past 7 months, I think this is my third fight in 7 months. So I've been turning around and getting these fights in to climb this ladder. And if I'm physically capable, if there's no problem for me to start my fight camp and be ready for that title fight, no problem at all. I'll be ready. And but not even considering that when I get into the cage with Robert Whittaker. I'm willing to take a limb off and this be the last fight of my life to beat Robert Whittaker with that piece of limb. I'm not even thinking about this title fight right now. I'm thinking about Robert Whittaker, and I mean, I guess they'll decide if I'm #1 contender or not.
Dricus, okay. Kind of going off of that, like say you are in a war with Rob and you're too banged up to have a quick turnaround to Sydney. Is the fact that Israel keeps bringing you up, like he seems to want to fight you. So say Israel fights someone like Sean Strickland in Sydney and wins, like you're still most likely going to get that Israel fight even if you can't fight in Sydney. Is that in the back of your mind too? Like just got to be Rob no matter what, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's, like I said, we can literally sort out all of that. And at the end of the day, it's not my call. It's the UFC's call. And but there won't be any denying me as the #1 contender after I beat Rob. But yeah, if that's the way they want to do it, if it's not possible for me physically to fight in Sydney, if there's an injury or like you said, if you get extremely bad cuts, there's no way that then you're out for a couple. When that's you never know what happens in the sport. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, it's nothing about. I don't want to fight Izzy. I want to fight the guy with the belt. So whether it's Izzy, whether it's Strickland, I don't care. For me, it's about fighting whoever has that title to become the champion.
Rob was in here earlier, and he actually labeled you as the most dangerous fight for him because he viewed you as a fighter with nothing to lose, and he said there's nothing more dangerous than fighting someone with nothing to lose. I'm curious if you view yourself in that same way.
I don't know what he means. I have everything to lose. What do you mean? I've built up this record. I'm fighting for number one, to be number one in the world, to be the champion, the world champion. What is he? Of course I have something to lose. I have everything to lose. I'm here to win. I'm here to be the UFC middleweight champion of the world, and I have to get through Robert Whittaker, which is a very, very tall order. But I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to beat Robert Whittaker and get my shot at fighting for that title. But nothing to lose, that makes no sense.
And unrelated to this fight, what do you make of your countryman Elon Musk possibly trying to have an MMA fight with Mark Zuckerberg?
That's interesting. I think it's going to obviously be massive, but I don't know what do you say to something like that? Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. It'll be massive, but it'll be cool to see what they can manage to do. I guess the technology and training will be next level.
Hey, Dricus, over here.
Hold on, one more.
Sorry.
Just one more. It's Lawler's last fight on Saturday. I'm just curious if you have any favorite memories or favorite fights of his career.
Oh man, obviously favorite fight. You can't go anywhere else than Rory McDonald fight, and obviously you can almost go and say in that same fight is the favorite moment ever, where they just did that stare down, and Robbie Lawler, his lip was so busted that when he spit, there was just blood everywhere. And of course, another massive moment in his career is when him and Johnny Hendricks fought, and it was almost that became his signature move. Like the last minute and a half, you would just be like, even though he's so tired, just go like, oh, if my opponent's holding Thai pads, and he'll just be teeing off, kicking and kicking and kicking. And the fact that the man in all of his fights didn't go for a submission once, that is the coolest thing ever, and that is so badass. He has all my respect, and he's an absolute legend.
Dricus, over here. Sorry again, Jose, didn't mean to jump the gun there. Robert Whittaker is an extremely tough guy to finish. We've seen, I think the only guy to knock him out at middleweight was Adesanya. You're used to finishing your opponents. Does that change the game plan at all, just with how durable he is?
No, it's not really comparable, but my debut fight, I fought Marcus Perez, who's never been finished, and I've only had finishes, and that was one of those fights where I was like, wow, this is interesting, because and he has a lot of fights. A guy who's never been finished versus a guy who's only finished his opponents, and I got that finish. So it's just my style. It didn't change my preparation at all. I'm going out there, and if I can't finish Robert Whittaker, it's going to be a fight like Brad Tavares. Who's so extremely tough that it wasn't for a lack of trying. But if that's the case, I'm more than happy to go to that decision, because Brad Tavares' fight up until this point in my career was my favorite fight. It was such a cool fight to be a part of. Watching it as a fan, it's amazing. And if I have that kind of fight with Whittaker, I would love that. But I'm going out there. If this opportunity comes in the first minute, I'm taking it. And if it comes in the last second, I'm taking it to finish this fight.